All right, guys, I'm mixing my first full strength batch of epoxy for the EcoFinish on the training pool that we poured back in April. We're finally getting around to finishing it. It's a project that didn't really have a timeline, so we've been working on all of our clients' pools, but it's been a Saturday and Sunday project for me for the last couple months, and I finally got it close enough that this Saturday, today, we are getting it done, and hopefully by the time I get this video posted, it's got water in it and everything. Because really, I'm not going to get into great detail about the EcoFinish. I will talk our way through it as I'm shooting it here today. But more, I want to show you guys the equipment, the lights, all the details on that, because that's the exact kit that we are selling as far as the equipment goes. Obviously, we can tweak those kits to meet your exact needs, but the basic kit is exactly what this pool has on it. So I'm going to try to get into the details on the equipment and also the EcoFinish process on monopores, or like the akin to gunite. I've done some very, very detailed ones on vinyl liners, but I'm going to get into all the little plumbing parts on this. And yeah, so stay tuned. We'll get into the details. Okay, guys. So what I'm doing now is, this morning about 6 a.m. I put a coat of what they call 50-50, which is this epoxy mixed 50% with acetone, which is a coat that's made to penetrate the concrete deeply. And so I put that on there. Now I'm back to lay the top coat, the full strength epoxy that will build, and we will apply the EcoFinish directly to this. And that's where it becomes very bulletproof. You can hear me, I'm still sticking a little bit to the other coat. But yeah, this is the process. I'll kind of keep showing you this as we go. But this smooths out all the roughness to the concrete and everything, and then we continue. So I'll be back at the end of this process. All right, guys. So I'm using the gray reef color. It's my wife's favorite color. It's one of my favorites as well. So it's going to look really awesome. And these boxes that come from Eco are made to fill up the hopper exactly to the brim. So load it up completely with the box. You see the hopper is full, ready to go. And Zach's gonna start spraying, and then I'm gonna take over. So what he's gotta do first, guys, is all that stuff is as sticky as fly paper. So he's gonna spray from the top and give himself a pad to get down in. Once that powder coat bonds with the epoxy, you can stand on it without making a mess and without sticking. So he's not worried about being pretty right now. He's just trying to get himself a firm foothold to work his way out of. I totally offered him a ladder, guys. So when he hops his big old butt down there and twists his ankle, know that it's not my fault. All right, so now he's in there. They're gonna hand him the Eco machine, the gun, and he's going to start working his way out of that hole. Okay, so we are applying the first layer of Eco, and what this coat is doing, it's flocking that molten thermoplastic powder into the epoxy. So you've got the first coat of epoxy, it's 50-50 with acetone. It's the consistency of water that is just soaked down deeply into the etched concrete. And then we put the full strength coat on, which is more thick and viscous, and as it sets up to about the consistency of fly paper, we start melting that powder into it, so it's chemically and physically bonded deeply into the concrete. So this layer doesn't have to be pretty. The second layer is just a build powder. It's kind of rinse and repeat. We just keep going with the powder coat, and then the third 3.5 coats, three to four coats, those are the beautifying coats that really make the Eco even out, and it's just a plastic shell that's just impervious to chemicals, UV. It's just the best. Okay, guys, so the Eco turned out amazing. I'm losing the daylight, so I got one more thing I'm going to do tonight. This pool only has 9 penetrations, well, other than the skimmer and the main drains, 9 wall penetrations. I have 4 returns, which I'll show you how these work on gunite style or monopores, anything that's not a vinyl liner. I have 4 return jets, 4 lights, and 1 autofill. So that's my 9 penetrations. They all take the same fitting. And the fittings we use, these are gray because my EcoFinish is gray, but they're called an insider fitting because the diameter of the back of this fitting is made to slide right into the inside of a 2-inch pipe. They still have the female thread that's 1.5 inches that accepts the eyeballs and accepts microbrides, same fitting. These are different than the vinyl liners that come with the vinyl kits because the vinyl liner kits have a bigger fitting that has a big rubber gasket that goes in the wall prior to pouring, and then obviously the trim piece that goes on top of the liner to, you know, press that to the gasket. So these are actually the one thing about these monopores that is simpler than a vinyl liner, because we're just going to glue this thing up, jam it in, put the eyeball in, and we're done. I did forget to tell you I have an extra step I like to take because this is right to Eco, and Eco is a really good product because it's not like any of your cementitious plasters that don't really accept caulk. I'm going to use a little bit of limestone colored Volcom around each one of these to sort of create a gasket to just keep water from getting in behind it. Seems kind of like a belt and suspenders or maybe overkill, but I do like to do that step. I'm going to add the glue, and for all you plumbing guys out there, you probably noticed that my primer is clear, and that is intentional because this is my glue that I'm going to be using on my equipment pad, and I don't like purple stuff all over the place. So put that in there and we put it down and we are golden. Okay, so the last thing I do is put the eyeball in, and there you go in real nice and easy. Something I do, I always throw the eyeball up, and I actually position my plumbing to where I can sort of make the water go in a circle and generally kind of try to get it to circulate towards the skimmers. Most pools that we build, most of the kits we sell come with 2 skimmers. This pool is very small, 7,000 gallons. 1 skimmer is more than enough. So I'm going to go ahead and install the rest of these before dark, and see you guys in the morning. Hey guys, apparently I am not as young as I used to be. You know, we ecoed this last night, and that's a pretty taxing process in itself. But these precast GFRC pavers that I made for the coping, they are probably 130 pounds a piece, and it took me all day to get them set. I beat my butt. So I'm not going to be able to show you the finished product with the waterfall, the lights on. For one thing, somehow my transformer's not here. I guess I put it on one of our job site pools, so I couldn't kick the lights on tonight anyway. But I am going to take you over and show you the equipment real quick because it is basically the kits. Next week, I think I'll actually be able to get into detail about the kits, and I'll give you a full-on tour of this pool. That'll probably be next week's video, is kit talk and training updates. Like I said, training's coming up October 20th. So we still have about 3 or 4 spots left, I think, on training. So if you're looking to come. Otherwise, like I said, this pool, I'm so excited. I'm getting ready to fill it up. I will show you that process. We're going to use a fire hydrant. That's why I'm dumping the salt in so it can just blow it in here. The only other chemicals I will use probably is I'll use about 1 gallon of liquid chlorine shock tonight, probably another when I start it up tomorrow because I'm not done plumbing. And I'm just going to use some startup tech for dealing with the metals that are probably going to be in that water coming out of the fire hydrant. I got about 7 pounds of CYA that I'll put in the skimmer once it's running. And yeah, that's probably all I'll need. I got a IC40 salt chlorine generator that's going to be coming with most of our kits that will be more than enough for this pool. That'll take care of a 20 by 40, 30,000 gallon pool. This is a 7,000 gallon pool. I'll probably only have to run that thing about 20%. So anyway, without further ado, I'm going to fill this thing up and show you guys the equipment real quick before I probably take my first dip in this sucker. So this is always a fun way to fill up a pool, rewarding because it happens so fast. We don't always have the option. I'm about 350 feet from the closest hydrant, so it didn't fill up as fast as when we're close, and we filled up 30,000 gallon pools this year in about an hour, and this is only 7,500, about a quarter that size, and it took half an hour. So it's funny how that kind of stuff works, but still half an hour is a lot better than a day out of a hose or whatever it would take. So turned out really nice, and I was able to add most of the chemicals during the fill, so it got churned up pretty nice since I don't have the pumps running till in the morning. And yeah, kind of a cool thing. Okay guys, pool filled up in exactly 30 minutes. It actually took a little bit longer than I thought it would. Just to go over, I'm not having time to get this plumbed tonight. It's, you know, I'm losing daylight and I'm exhausted. I'll get it going tomorrow. I'll have this full setup in next week's video when I really get into details about the kits. But effectively the kits are going to start with a Pentair EasyTouch 4 with the salt generator, which is the lower box here. You can see, I'll link a video where you can see one of these set up and running. It's probably about 3/4 of the way through that video. We do have a 3-way valve. This is if you have an accessory like a waterfall or laminar jets, deck jets, anything like that. This 3-way valve will switch the flow from the returns to your accessory. And right down here, I've got the actual actuator, the electronic actuator that will replace this handle and do it automatically with the panel. So it's pretty cool. I actually have ScreenLogic too. That will be an upgrade to the kits. That's the module you put in this panel to make it Wi-Fi enabled, to where you can use this, the ScreenLogic app, the Pentair app, and actually do it all from your phone, which I'll probably would like to do with the waterfall. Pentair variable flow VST, Superflow VST, which is a variable flow, 3/4 to 2.2 horsepower. It's one of the smaller variable speeds, more than enough to filter and chlorinate. Just if you have a bunch of waterfalls or something, you got to upgrade that pump to the 3 horse. But the and this sand filter here is the regular Tagulus 60. This is the one we'll have in most of the kits. They've got 2 different variations. We also have a cartridge filter and DE, and I'll explain all the differences in the kit video about why you would choose one over the other. You know, sometimes simplicity, some are, you know, higher grades of filtration. We'll get into all that. Real quick, I'm going to take you back and show you that beautiful pool one more time. I wish the lights were on, but the one thing I'm missing here is my transformer, so it will not be on until Monday. All right, guys, I'm so excited because this is actually my own personal pool. Very, very excited to have one. You know, get home after a hot day of working on pools and be able to get in and cool off. So I will be back, like I said, next week with full kits. We do have training again October 20th. I think we've got 4 spots left. I'm not positive, but I think it's 4 left. So if you're interested in that, it's a pool like this that's roughly 12 times bigger, but it's a monopore that's going to get eco finished. Amazing pool. Everything about it is like on steroids compared to this, but it's awesome. Like I said, in that video, I'll show you the finished product with the raised beam waterfall, the shear descent, all the lights going, all the cool stuff. And I'll also take you over and show you the stock that we actually already have on the kits. And I will see you guys next week.